rehearsal versus practice. This is something that I wanted to talk about for a little while now. As a matter of fact, I did a video on it this morning, just like a short little reel, and put it up on social media. But I wanted to dive a little bit more in depth here on my YouTube channel on Road Rash and Band Aids. One of the things that I think that a lot of times we miss as musicians, especially young musicians, I know I did. Um, these are all things that I've learned over years of making these mistakes, and that is the difference between rehearsal and practice. And diligent practice and good practice versus, maybe haphazard practice. So right now, I'm making this video here in my studio in my home. This studio serves as a few things, right? This studio is a recording studio. I do a lot of tracks out of here for people. I record tracks and send them out. Um, I do a lot of drum lessons out of here, all over the world. I have drum students all over the world. I teach here out of my studio online. I teach out of my studio here in person. And it's also my practice room. This is like my little, this is my cave. This is my man cave, and I spend a lot of time in here. It doesn't matter if I'm over here on the drum set. Maybe I'm on my practice pad working on a solo or an etude or working on something for my hands or working on a part for a student. A lot of times I spend, like this week, I'm getting ready to go back out on the road with the band, the Sam Morrison Band. We leave next week. It's only 3 nights, but we have 3 nights across Arizona, and we're going to be doing a different show than we did the last time we were out there. And we're playing some songs that we've played this year a handful of times, but not as much as some of the other tunes. So I've been sitting in here working on those tunes and practicing them up. I also been working on, we have Deck Day coming up, my podcast, Drummers Education Connection. We have our in-person Deck Day event coming up at Aquarian Drumheads on April 25th. If you're a drummer, you see this before then, April 25th, 2026. Get your ticket at drummersedcon.com. There's a plug for Deck Day. Anyway, I digress off my point. I spend a lot of time in here working on different things. Sometimes I might be working out of a book, working out of a theory book or something like that. But my practice time is just that. My practice time is spent whittling away at myself. I'm working on something for myself to make myself a better drummer, right? To make myself a better player, a better teacher, a better recording artist. Um, that's what practice time is, right? I might be practicing to get ready for a rehearsal. Now, well, wait a second, a rehearsal? Why would you have to practice to get ready for a rehearsal? A rehearsal is just that. When you come into a rehearsal with a band, you're coming in to rehearse something up. Like I said, we've got this little run that we're doing here next week, and we're going to probably get together and do a rehearsal to run through the songs that we haven't played in a while, and get them up to speed, and make sure that we're good to go. So a rehearsal is where the band gets together and everybody has done their due diligence and everybody has practiced, and then we come together and we play through the songs, make sure we have all the parts right, and then we go out and play them. Rehearsal's not a place to practice. Rehearsal is not the place where you go, how did that song go? What key is it in? How does the vocal line go? How's that piano run go? What's that drum groove? How do I play that drum groove? That's not the place to do it. Practice to be prepared for a rehearsal. And a lot of people, I remember being younger and I missed that point, right? I always thought band practice was the place where we practice. That's where you know, we're practicing and getting ready and coming up with our parts. Now, if you're writing songs at a rehearsal, of course, then you're going to come up with your parts there and you're going to come up with things. But really, a rehearsal is a rehearsal. Practice time is practice time. Make sure that you know the difference between the two. Um, I've been in bands before where, we get together and maybe one of the members of the band, let's say it's a soloist, no matter what instrument they play, they take their time at the rehearsal to work up their solo. And now that's not to say that you wouldn't like practice through the solo and maybe run it a few times to make sure that it's tight. But I mean, like literally writing the solo. And what that does is the other musicians that aren't the soloist, we're playing through this section of the song that's a solo, just so that person can put their part together or get it down. And it's kind of a waste of everybody's time. When you come into the rehearsal, you should have your solo somewhat prepared, maybe work on that outside of rehearsal and be ready to play it. Um, I've seen people come in and there's a difference between like let's say vocal practice, right? Where the singers will be working up their harmonies, right? And they'll work up their harmonies, and that's fine at rehearsal. Okay, you've got this part, I've got this part, I've got this part, and they work on the harmony, and that's what rehearsal's for. But it's not to come in and figure out the harmonies. It's not to come in and figure out those parts. The singer should have those parts prepared, and then you kind of massage them and put them into place at the rehearsal. So if you're a young musician and you're coming into band practice and you don't feel you're making headway, like we've been rehearsing forever and we're just not where we should be. A lot of times it's because you're not doing your practice time outside of rehearsal. Practice outside of rehearsal, rehearse at rehearsal. It's very important. And then as a caveat to both of those things, I have to say this, rehearsal also, and this is sometimes maybe debatable, I don't know, but rehearsal's not the place to get the band tight. Okay. And what are you talking about? Not a place to get the band tight. We rehearse until we're tight and then we take it out and perform it. Well, you're right. You want to rehearse and get the band tight, but you're never going to get it as tight as it can be until you get it out in front of people. And what I mean by that is this, right? Let's say you rehearse with a band for 6 months and you get the band really tight and you go out and you do your first show and you're on the stage and at rehearsal you're facing each other, you're in a circle, but at the gig you're on the stage and everybody's facing the audience. The PA system is, if I'm the drummer, so the PA system's 20 feet in front of me and facing that way. If we're going with old school wedge monitors, we got the wedge monitors firing back at us and it's loud and it doesn't sound like it does in our perfect, comfy, cozy practice room, right? The instruments themselves sound different because we're in a different environment. That can be a culture shock. Oh my gosh, my snare drum just sounds so different in this room than it does back in the practice room. Guitar players, oh my gosh, my tone sounds so much different in this concert hall or in this club than it does at the practice room. And this can mess with us. This can mess with our heads and it can make for a bad performance. So you have to be used to playing in front of the audience. You have to be used to playing and doing those things, different sound, different setup, wedge monitors, the PAs in front of you, you can't hear as well, right? All of these things have to be things that you do on a regular basis to get the band tight, right? Because once you've played a song or a group of songs live for any number of shows, 5, 6, 7, 8 shows, they're going to sound way better and be way tighter than they were in the rehearsal room because now you're used to that stage environment. You do a little bit of touring, even if it's local, right? And you play, let's say, 5 shows, and it's at 5 different clubs across town over a 2-week time period. Every night it's going to sound different in each room, and by the time you get to the end of those 5 nights, again, the band is going to sound better and be tighter than they were at the beginning of that 5-night run. So again, and I can give a lot of for instances and anecdotes, but I think you get the idea. I really do. I think you get the idea. So practice your parts, have your parts prepared, come into rehearsal prepared to play your parts, right? Massage the pieces, work them all together, put the puzzle together. Okay, here's how the song goes. And then get it out there live and stumble through the songs a few times live and get them tight. And then pretty soon, the band will be out there cooking and you'll be working and doing great. I have a lot of students that come to me for anecdotes like that. So if you're in need of some coaching, you're a young musician and these things never occurred to you, please reach out to me at my website, bartrobley.com. I'll be more than happy to coach you through this. I help people with this stuff all the time, right? I help clients all the time with situations like this. You can also check out my book, Drum Up Your Business. Um, which is more of a music business related book. And that is available also on my website on the hard copies, bartrobley.com. And the digital version of that is available at hudsonmusic.com. I have links to the hard copies and to Hudson Music in the description below. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. And I'd love to hear from you. If you watch this video and you have an anecdote or you have a situation where you've been in a rehearsal or practice situation or a gigging situation, if you and you've really learned something from that, I'd love to hear from you. Please put it in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope this was helpful once again. I'll see you in the next video.